Welcome to Deep Dive by House of Undine, the wellness podcast where peace meets power and depth drives everything. Interviews, insights, meditations, and more. Let's dive in. Clear vision, dream life. Welcome to House of Undine. Well, really welcome to Deep Dive by House of Undine. I am so excited that you're here. This podcast with me and Maverick combined, as you can hear, is going to be a space for growth, wellness, creativity, coming, building, all the things. I am so excited. We're going to talk about vision, mindset, identity, wellness products, all kinds of products, like everything. View Deep Dive is kind of a more masculine side to the feminine House of Undine. So where House of Undine, a lot of my services are based in kind of tapping into your more feminine, softer side with like meditation, Basi, and yoga. This is kind of the action side of things. This is like your Monday, get amped about your week kind of reset vibes. So this podcast is meant to be fun. I will probably talk about a lot of wellness trends, things I'm doing, things I'm loving, things that I find to be interesting, tricks that I have used, kind of recapping. Kind of whatever. My real intention is to hopefully do a lot of interviews one day because I love interviews. I love talking to people. I love their stories. So I'm so excited that you're here. And I really can't think of a better way to start this podcast than starting with goals and intentions, because this is the start of something. And the way that I began any of this is with the goals and intentions that I set for myself, honestly, years ago at this point. So last week, I uploaded a 2026 goals and intention guide to my website and to Instagram. If you haven't gotten it yet, please go to my website, www.houseofundine.com. It has its own tab. It says free 2026 guide. All you need to do is put your email in. It's absolutely free. And it is a wealth of knowledge. This guide is really everything that I've learned over the past 5 years of redefining myself, making myself a little more routine and a little more disciplined so I can actually achieve the things that I want. And it also transformed me. Like, I am not the person that I was 5 years ago, and I've changed a lot of things about myself, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without all of the things, including in this guide. So it's something I'm really proud of. It's something I'm really happy to share with everyone, and I really hope all of these things help you in whatever it is you want. It doesn't have to be starting a business. It could be very all goals are big goals, but they're big to you and to whatever you want in your life. And there's no comparing goals. It's just, what do you want for yourself? What do you want your life to look like? How do you want to be in this life? What brings you happiness? And I want that for everyone. So today I'm going to walk you a little bit through the guide and how I really use it in my own life and like some anecdotal responses. And so let's first start with addressing the absolute obvious, which is like, who am I to talk about this? Like, who am I to get on here and tell you about goal setting and intention setting? As far as my business goes, House of Undine, it's still at its infancy. It's not like I'm at the peak of the mountain or I've like reached the top and I'm talking down to you being like, this is exactly how I did it. I'm not sitting on like $1 billion brand yet, but I'm in it and I'm working with you and I'm hoping that we can build and achieve our dreams together. House of Undine is really all about community. It's all about growing together. And that's where I'm sitting. And I'm kind of trying to fill the gap. I feel like there's a huge gap in between when people come on and feel confident enough to talk about how they've got to where they are. And then that very beginning stage where it's kind of the hardest because you're all alone doing it with like zero real like feedback. You're kind of just in it. And I think a lot of times when people kind of reach the top or they gain a lot of success, they're already talking to you from an unrelatable standpoint. So with me, I'm really in it with you. And these are the things that I use every day right now to get things done, to plan things out, to make sure that when I really want to go off the rails, because I do, I have somewhere to come back to recenter myself. So let's talk about how we intentionally not just design our year, because this isn't just 2026. You can pick this up whenever, but like designing your life and not just wishing for it, but really wishing for it and then coming up with the steps to really get it. And that all starts with reflecting. You have to reflect when you sit down to kind of set a new intention or set a new goal, like a big one, like obviously like the little things. You can be like, oh, this is what I want to do. But if you really are trying to set some real goals for yourself and really try to figure out a new path forward, you got to look back. Not forever. You don't want to ruminate, but you need to reflect. And I think the best way to do that and the things that have helped me is I'm going to use the year, but again, use this whenever and make this guide conducive to you. When I look back at 2025, it was like, what went well for me? What didn't go well for me? What do I want to bring forward? And what do I want to leave behind? And when I say that, I'm talking about the things that really went well for me last year. I really put myself out there. I was able to make connections with really wonderful businesses that I love and have really helped me grow. And I started doing public events. Like it was a big year of me just like House of Undine really getting out of my house and like into the real world. So that went really well. Some things that didn't go well. I don't know. I mean, this isn't a negative, but things that I thought were going to take off didn't. I've had, there's just been redirections and things like that I wasn't necessarily expecting. There's just always things that happen and they're not bad. I just consider things like redirections and me also figuring things out for myself. I definitely spent a lot of money on things that maybe looking back, I'm like, I don't know if I needed to do that, but I did it at the time and it's all learning. Some habits serve you for a period of time and you don't need to do them forever. You don't need to do anything forever, really, but some things you just need to know to come back to. I view a lot of these things as tools. So these are things you come back to when you feel yourself going off. There will be a time period when you are changing habits that you need to do things every day because you need to stay consistent. But eventually they just become a part of your life or they become something you can come back to when you really need them. When I look at things as forever, that kind of ruins it for me. So I just take things day by day, one thing at a time. And I think a really good example of this for me is about 5 years ago when I was at kind of the beginning of this. And I was really trying to figure out myself because I was really unhappy and I was not okay. And I had no idea how I had gotten there. And things were not as I had planned. And I just remember feeling like my life was just me doing all these things all the time. And I had no time for myself. And so I just decided that Sundays were my day for me, and I didn't make plans to hang out. I didn't make plans to do anything. It was for me. I would wake up in the morning. I would honestly like typically read a book, take Maverick to the park, and like reset for the next week and like spend that whole day really for me figuring myself out, reading, learning, transforming my own life. That didn't serve me for forever. That served me for a period of time. And at some point, it became something I didn't need to bring forward. So, things you want to leave behind aren't always negatives. They're just things that served you at a point in life that don't serve you anymore. And that's important. Growth requires awareness. You cannot create clarity without reflection. So, just remember to look back. Don't be mean to yourself. Just be honest and say, like, what went well, what didn't, where are we at? And then after you do that, this is one of my favorite practices. You can do it for all sorts of things. Like if you're trying to like be a writer, I think learning how to free write is really freeing because naturally we all critique ourselves all the time. You will find when you do this. And really this is just sitting down, taking 10 minutes or however long you want and writing whatever comes to mind. Just start writing, no editing, no pausing, no censoring. Like write out everything. If it's how you're feeling, if it's what you want, it's for what you desire, just write it out and just let it flow. You will be surprised what comes out of you. And just don't hold back and don't be afraid of whatever it is you're writing down. Just write it, get it out, come back later. It's really awesome for just writing in general. You can use it for different things. Sometimes you want to write something and let it go and never look at it again, and you don't have to. In this case, we are going to look at it again because you're going to go back, you're going to read through what you wrote, you're going to pick out the things and really become clear on what it is you want, the feelings that you're having, and also what you wouldn't let yourself write down. Because I'm pretty sure that if this is the first time you're doing it, there's something that you were too scared to write down. So I want you to take those things. I want you to see where you limited yourself. I want you to ask yourself why. And then I want you to see any negative thought or idea or thing that was written down in your free write. And I want you to acknowledge that. And then I want you to take that and I want you to flip that on its head. So these things are typically what I refer to as our limiting beliefs, the negative things you think, the things that you think are too big for you, too unrealistic, not for somebody like you. Like all of that is information for you. That is holding you back. That's your self worth screaming at you. That's saying that you're insecure about something, that you're afraid to want something for yourself, or there's something deep down in your subconscious that tells you that you're not worthy of those things. And it's not always going to be so obvious, but our self worth comes out in really interesting ways. And there's no reason you can't have the things that you deeply desire in life. Like, no one person is worth more than you are. You're worth everything. So you need to get yourself to believe that. So, some common things that people say or write or feel is like, I'm not good enough. That only happens for lucky people. People like me don't get that. That's impossible. This is where we need to flip it. So, dreams die on many things, but a lot of times, if you initially think they're impossible, then it's not going to happen because you just decided that it's not for you. And you need to be honest about where that came up. And then once you have those kind of listed out, for every limiting belief that you have, I want you to write an opposing affirmation. So if you wrote, I'm not good enough, I want you to put, I am good enough, I'm enough just as I am, something similar. It has to be your own words because it has to resonate with you, but it's important just to make sure you are opposing those negative thoughts. Again, make it personal, make it believable, and ideally repeat it to yourself daily. Like, these are the things you need to do at the beginning, like every day, to really reframe your thought pattern and how you feel about yourself, but especially when things get hard. Because when you set these goals and you start to put them in action, we're going to have hard days and negative thoughts are going to come up. I am baseline blueprinted for negative thinking. So affirmations are massive for me. I consider them to be one of the most life changing things I ever did. Again, back in the early days of this for me, I used to, for almost 2 years, I have journals where every morning I would sit upstairs on my balcony while Maverick was outside or right next to my balcony. And I would write them every day. And at the beginning, you feel stupid, but it makes you feel good as you're writing them. And then you start to really believe it. And it's over time. And I needed to be consistent for a really long time in order to really repattern my thinking. I don't need to do them every morning now, but it doesn't mean that negative thoughts don't creep in. They're always going to. But my baseline is no longer negative. But when I do get into like a dark hole, I know that I can say these things to help myself out. And just remember, for every one negative thought, you need at least 3 to 5 positive thoughts to counteract it. Negative thoughts take much more control over us than positive thoughts. So be kind to yourself. We can only achieve what we believe we deserve, and your mind will always be your greatest obstacle. So, affirmations are your secret weapon. Please use them. They are important. Then, after we do that, we've cleared, what we want, what's limiting us, kind of gotten a bit of like what we're reflecting on from our past. This is where we're going to really break down our goals. So you're going to define what you really want this year. And I like to break the goals into categories. So there's career, relationships, finance, health, personal growth, and then fun and hobbies. Because you got to have fun. Like, this is your life. It doesn't need to be like, I'm healing, so everything has to be sad and trauma dumpy. Like, you can make time to heal and also make time to have fun because life is life. Like, you got to enjoy it. And joy is healing. So please don't like commit yourself to never enjoying things. Like, you need to have it. You need to have friendships, relationships, fun times. Sometimes isolation is necessary if you need to regroup who you're being friends with, but find joy in things and please make time for that. But after you kind of write these things down, and again, like, make this conducive to you. If your focus isn't relationships, like, don't put goals for that. But after that, it'll be really clear to you after you like bullet point kind of the different goals you want in all those different aspects, like what the overall theme is. Because typically there's a theme. There's going to be a through line in all of your goals, and make that the theme of your year. For me, 1 year it was exponential growth because I realized what I really wanted in all of my little categories was growth. I really wanted to grow and really get bigger and really like stand strong in that. So I saw that exponential growth was my theme. And then I imagined what that felt like. Like, what would it feel to grow and to expand and to, really step into who I want to be? And after you kind of do that, then I want you to take, your theme and how you feel. And I want you to write an I am affirmation that kind of encompasses all of those things. And after you do that, I want you to include that affirmation with the affirmations you say to yourself, because we need reminders. We need to work in that reprogramming of the subconscious to be like, this is what I want. This is what I'm doing. This is how I feel when I do what I'm doing. And it really just helps because this is also identity work. Outcomes follow your identity. Who you believe yourself to be is who you present yourself to the world, and that's how the world interacts with you. Then, after we've done this identity work and we have identified our goals, we've identified how we're going to break those down. We've worked through our affirmations. We need to take some action. Big dreams require small, consistent steps. Please don't stand in your own way. At the beginning, I think you should be limitless in all your dreams. You should dream as big as possible. Please do not hold back. But you need to have small steps at the beginning and how to get there. Don't overextend yourself. The fastest way to ruin something and to end it for you is to be like, for instance, I'm going to the gym. If you haven't been to the gym in 3 years and you start off on January 1st saying you're going to go 7 days a week for an hour a day, unlikely that you will accomplish that. Some person will because someone's going to be able to do that. But for the majority of people, if you go from such crazy extremes, it's just not going to work. And a better way to do that is be like, I'm going to walk 20 minutes for 3 days a week. Or if you want to go to the gym, I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week. And then as you are able to do those small goals consistently, those just become a part of your day and then you can add on as you go. And that's how we build confidence. We build confidence by completing small, manageable tasks. So please don't make unreasonable promises to yourself. At the beginning, lower the barrier to entry, make it easy on yourself to do. And luck is preparation meets opportunity. So just be prepared for when the opportunities come to you. You got to take action. You have to have the small steps in order to get there. And you got to build upon yourself in order to build these versions of yourself or dreams that you want. We cannot just think something into existence. Thinking is a huge part of it. And you have to think it. You have to come up with the idea. You have to believe in it. You have to believe in yourself. You have to map it out. You have to visualize it. You got to do all of the work there. But then you got to take it to the next level and you got to do. Action manifests it. So thinking is the first step. Taking the action will bring that idea into existence. And this is where vision boards are really amazing. We are visual creatures and I do believe strongly in vision boards. I think they work, but I do think you have to be specific. Most times people are like going and getting random magazines and doing cutouts, and that's fine for certain. But right now, this is a solo venture. I want you to view this vision board as a very serious meeting with yourself. I want you, like when you are going through this, I want to look at those, different like career, finance, health, wealth, those bullet points. What is a visual representation of that to you? And then I want you to take those visual representations. I want you to go online. I want you to find the exact picture of that visual representation of each one or one that kind of identifies it for you. I want you to print that exact picture out. I want you to cut it out and post it on your board. When we kind of go through magazines, you're kind of at the mercy of whatever they have. And it's kind of like wishy-washy on what you want. And sometimes when we do them in group settings, it can be fun and it can be a really cool thing to do with your friends. And I'm not saying that they're useless. They're useful in their own moment. A lot of times we hold ourselves back in groups of people. We're scared to say what we really want. We don't want to rock the boat. Or you're like a part of groupthink and you'll start putting the same things on your board as like the person next to you because you really don't know what you want. This is a solo adventure. You need to be honest with yourself. You don't need to show this vision board to other people. This is for you. So please, if there's an influencer that has been to a destination that lights you up inside, go to their Instagram, screenshot the picture, put it on your vision board, print that exact house, print that exact destination. Make this the exact version of your life that you want. And use envy as information. If something is triggering you, if you get jealous of something, if somebody has something and you're like, oh, whatever, I don't need that. Normally that's something in you that wants that. And that is information. Don't be mad at yourself about it. Use it as inspo. Use it as like, if they have it, I can have it. There's no reason. So remember that. Like that is, emotions are information. And use that as information for inspiration for you. My other suggestion is to keep your board visible. A lot of people like to say, like, set it and forget it. Write down your ideas, your manifestations, and then forget it, and it'll come true. That doesn't work for me. I gotta, like, keep it real up in front. Like, I will forget it, and it will never happen. So for me, I do, like, my most successful vision board, very specific, knew exactly what I wanted. I typically like to, like, have the middle be, like, the theme, and then the quadrants kind of evolve out of it. I got an easel that you would use for, like, a canvas. I make my vision boards on canvas boards. So I go to Michael's and buy that. And then I will print it, use the double-sided like scrapbook tape or something. And then I put it on an easel where I could see it every day. And then I take a picture of it and I use it as a background on my phone. And it is subconsciously always there. So I'm always thinking, like, I'm not constantly thinking about it, but it's always around. So when things go off, I'm like, recenter, this is what I want. And please make sure that your vision board lights you up. It should be like you on paper. Like when you look at that, you need to see yourself and it needs to make you feel good because it has to be aligned with what you want. And if you look at it and it feels messy and it feels wrong, something's off and you need to fix it, redo it, do something different. But your vision board should always resonate with you and light you up. And remember, vague dreams produce vague results. We don't want to be vague. We want to know what we want. And I kind of wrap it up with tools for when it gets hard because it will. The journey's not going to be straight. It's going to get windy. It's going to get weird. And you're going to need tools that kind of help you stay on track because it's not in the deciding this or the length, like figuring out what you want, it's its own battle. But writing down goals is kind of the easy part. Doing the vision board, that's kind of fun. Sticking with it 6 months down the road is when things get hard and tricky and you can really get off path. So, the things I like to use, obviously, we went over affirmations. I think that's really important. Double down when the mindset is going. Affirmations are really going to help you. Meditation is wonderful. I do, or I try to do 20-minute unguided meditations every morning. But I think this really depends on where you're at with meditation. If you are kind of at the beginning of things, meditating might bring up harder things for you that you're working through. So I think you got to acknowledge where you're at with meditation. If meditation is hard for you, use sound baths. I mean, I view sound baths as a tool. They're a tool for many things. They're a tool for relaxation. They're a tool for, I like to use them for creative sessions because they allow you to get into that theta wave, which is where you can do some subconscious work. They're also great for trauma, emotional release. They're a tool because they're helping your brain and your body. It's doing many things, but I'm really into kind of the neuroscience of it and also the spiritual aspect. But I'm kind of lean more into the neuroscience when it comes to speaking with other people about it. It really helps you. It's like an assisted meditation and it will really help drown out the noise. So, love sound baths, obviously. Come do a virtual one with me anytime. Try it for yourself. Then we're moving on to like body, mind, spirit. So, weight training is wonderful. There's a meditative aspect to weight training. When you are doing mind muscle connection, when you're lifting weights, you're very present because your mind is focused on your mind muscle connection. So, you're not thinking about the future, you're not thinking about the past. You are in the present moment. And that really helps with happiness, groundedness, all kinds of things. So, highly recommend weight training. Yin yoga is also amazing for this because it's a similar thing. You are doing extended holds. So you're focusing on the lengthening, you're focusing on your muscles, your mind. Like you're not thinking about the future. You're not thinking about the past. You are grounded in your body in the present moment and you are allowed to just rest and relax and it really grounds you. Total nervous system reset. Absolutely love. And then there are other productivity tools. Morning routine, really important. If you feel like your day is constantly handed over to everybody else, please make time for yourself in the morning, even if it's just 15 minutes. Have a coffee, have a 10-minute quiet time with yourself. It's important. And when you have that time to yourself that really you look forward to and you love, it makes it so much easier to do other things. Eat your frogs, hardest task first. If you hate going to the gym, you should do it first thing in the morning. Do it early when your brain is at its highest productivity level, because if you wait till later in the afternoon, it's going to be way easier to convince yourself not to do it. So hard decisions always come first. If you're having trouble with consistency and routine and you don't like doing things every day because that makes you want to die, because it makes me want to die doing things I don't like every day, Time blocking is great. I like to use social media as an example. If you want to get all your content done, do it on a Monday. Don't do it the rest of the week. Get it out of the way. 90 minutes is really the key focus window for people. But if it gets you into flow state, just take advantage of that. And then finally, let go of perfection. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. It's never going to be up to the standard that you want. But other people probably don't know the difference. And sometimes at the beginning, good is good enough. And then you can, grow from there and reiterate from there. Perfection is where dreams go to die, and consistency wins every time. So don't hold yourself back. And finally, not everyone will understand your vision. And that's okay. They don't have to. You just need to understand it. And sometimes you may need to keep it to yourself. I didn't tell people about House of Undine, some for months, some for like a year, because I needed to grow House of Undine by myself before I let other people's opinions in. People aren't always going to understand what you're doing. People aren't always going to be able to see and understand your dreams. Most often, people will only ever be able to see for you what they can see for themselves. So please do not let someone else's limited vision of their life be the limited version of yours. You are worthy and deserving of all of your dreams. Don't let somebody else's opinion stop you. And on that note, you might stop for a little. You might stop for a week. Maybe you get into a rut and you stop for a month. Just don't stop forever. Remember, consistency wins every time. House of Undine is growing, I'm growing, and I really hope you grow with me. If you haven't downloaded the guide, please go online. It's free on my website. I would love your feedback on it. So try it out for yourself. See if you love it. I made it because these practices have changed my life. And it's just a lot of love and a lot of my heart in there. So if you use it, tag me. I want to see your boards. I want to see your themes. I want to see your intentions. Remember, we're in this together. We're building together. So clear vision, dream life. And I can't wait to see you next week. Love you all. Bye. Thanks for diving deep with us. If you like this episode, share it, rate it, and come back next week for more. This is Deep Dive by House of Undine, where peace meets power. The content presented in this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to constitute professional advice of any kind, including but not limited to medical, legal, financial, psychological, or other professional services. Nothing discussed should be interpreted as medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or prevention of any disease, nor as a substitute for advice from a licensed physician, healthcare provider, or other qualified professional. The hosts and guests are not acting in a medical or other professional capacity unless explicitly stated. Any opinions expressed are their own. Reliance on any information provided in this podcast is solely at your own risk. You should not disregard or delay seeking medical or other professional advice because of something you have heard on this podcast. Always consult a licensed physician, healthcare provider, or other qualified professional regarding your specific circumstances before making decisions related to your health, treatment, medication, supplements, finances, legal matters, or lifestyle. If you believe you are experiencing a medical or other emergency, contact your physician or the appropriate emergency services immediately. By listening to this podcast, you acknowledge and agree that the podcast creators, hosts, guests, producers, and affiliated entities disclaim any liability for any direct, indirect, incidental, consequential, or other damages arising from the use or misuse of the information presented.